Hi there, and welcome to Outdoor Gear Chat. This is episode 88, and today we are talking about a really exciting summer climbing challenge that we are launching as part of the 60th anniversary of the Joe Brown Climbing Shops in Llanberis and Capel Curig. We are just really psyched to join with our customers and get folk out on the rock, trying trad routes, trying sport routes, trying boulder problems, maybe going to new areas, maybe pushing your grade, or maybe actually just trying a different discipline. So we're going to go straight in, talk about this list. There's 60 routes that our staff team have come up with across the disciplines. And we have with us a very special guest to talk about a lot more of the routes than I've climbed personally. Emma is really arguably one of the hardest climbers in the UK and has consistently climbed at a very high grade since she started climbing at the age of 7. She was a member of Team GB for 8 years and was the first woman to climb trad E10 7A on a route called Emma Twyford. I'm just looking at Emma now. Have I pronounced that correctly?
Yeah, that's right. Although I would also say it's probably the first woman to climb E10 in the UK. I know
Yes,
there's a lot of
brilliant.
women who've climbed E10 everywhere in other places.
Well, of course, you were the first British woman to climb Sport 9A on Big Bang on LPT. And then with bouldering, you have also climbed Barrabrith Low at 7C plus. And you're also one of the very few female route setters for climbing walls across the UK. So I am honoured to chat with you. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We've actually known each other for a very long time.
Over 20
When
years.
I know, I don't know where that time's gone.
It's just flown by. Like honestly, the last few years, I'm like they've just gone by in a zoom.
Yeah, back in the day, when Paul and I had our previous company, Mountain Works, we had our own climbing brand, Zero G Climbing, and you were one of our sponsored athletes.
I was, and I think I was probably like that was my one of my first sponsorships, maybe alongside 510. It was like delving into that world of sponsorship for the first time. So thank you for supporting me.
Oh well, no, well it worked both ways because it was the first time we had sponsored climbers, so it was new to all of us. I mean, obviously you started out climbing in the Lake District. You've been climbing since the age of 7. Have you got a favourite route of all time?
I mean, that's a really hard one, but I mean, inevitably, I guess Dream of White Horse is the ultra classic route in that it's by the sea. It's just a wild route for the grade that it goes at. And it's really hard to beat on location and just the terrain that you're on. So I know it's like probably the classic that everyone expects, but equally, it's just so hard to beat. Like you've got the seals popping up to watch you, and it's just there's everything about it. It ticks every box.
I think I know Paul, my husband's climbed it. This one that I have wishes to aspire to if I can manage to re-achieve those lofty grade heights in my senior years. But I remember when I was living in Llanberis in the sort of early 90s, it was like it was always the route of discussion
Oh
in
yeah.
the pub, and folks would come back and they'd either be like full of sight because they'd just climbed it, or just like needing a stiff drink because they'd just climbed it. There was like these kind of two camps.
I mean, my big wish has always been to take my dad on it.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, whether that actually happens, I don't, hopefully maybe one day, but I
Yeah.
took him down one of the other sea cliffs once, and afterwards he's like, right, it's coffee and cake time instead of a stiff drink. So it's maybe just building up to the excitement level of dream.
Because as a route, it's a lot of it's a traverse, I think, isn't it?
A
From what I
lot of it is a
understand.
traverse, and I think there's definitely certain things you need to be able to do if the last pitch goes wrong, because obviously if you fall off, like you're into space. So it's just pre-planning that, like how you get someone out of a bad situation if they do fall off it.
Yeah, or pack your Prusik loops then.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I guess my thought had always been if I did take my dad on it is that I go down in a three. And
Yeah, yeah.
because like I mean, I always keep on telling him that he's capable of doing it. He's done much harder routes. But I think it's an intimidating place to be.
Yeah, and any sea cliff climb, the abbing in point, once you're down there,
You're committed. So like
yeah,
the only
yeah,
way
yeah,
out is up or across.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And there's a really great UKC film of Libby Peter and Rob Greenwood climbing Dream of White Horses, which is well worth a watch for people who are thinking of doing it. Libby Peter actually joined us on the podcast very early on talking about how to choose your trad kit. So there's loads of great information on there. But so I guess Dream of White Horses as a trad route, and that actually fits into one of our collections of trad climbs. On the big tick, we've got 4 collections of 4 or 5 routes for people to enjoy, and those are chosen kind of to be fairly close in grade, each one. And you can go out, you can tick off a group and then pop into the shops and collect a freebie. So Dream of White Horses is it's in the higher category. It's an HVS 4C grade, isn't it? But as you just mentioned, for the grade, it's a meaty climb.
It is. I think you have to be confident going down there and just well equipped for the adventure. And I think, I mean, the reality of it is like the gear's good, the climbing's not crazy difficult, but it is just so atmospheric that it
Yeah.
makes for quite an intimidating lead at the grade.
So is that your chosen favourite trad climb from the list, or have you got any others there?
I mean, Mousetrap's equally memorable.
Yeah, Joe Brown route, of course. Yeah.
Also a Go-Gar, but just wildly different. I mean, the fact that he did that back in the day
Yeah. Yeah.
is insane because like climbing is technical, the gear is terrible, and the rock is um fresh, as one of my
Right.
friends calls Chossie Rock.
Fresh. I've never heard that term before.
So there's one of my really good friends, Dave Evans, and he's like a great instructor, really full of psych. He always describes roots as fresh, which equals chars. And that is definitely up there as some ultimate chars. You just like you're climbing like a crab the entire time. Like you don't want to lose 4 points of contact in case something breaks off. But I mean, it's just wild. Like the terrain is wild, and it's definitely memorable for that reason. I think in that it's very different to Dream, but equally you're down by the sea. Like the rock is this beautiful red color, and you're just like slowly making your way up because you can't climb that stuff fast at all.
No.
And I mean, the other one that really always blows my mind is probably Vector at
Yeah.
Traumatic. In
Yeah.
that, again, like it is technical, it's smeary, it's really hard for the grade. um,
Yeah,
and
it was E25C, isn't it? And traumatic. I think the other thing I love about this list of routes that the staff team have pulled together is there's just such a vast mix. It's different rock type, but I mean, Gogarth compared to traumatic is like 2 different
it's
experiences, polar opposites, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, the amount of stuff that Joe did back in the day with the gear that
Yeah,
they had, with
yeah,
the boots that they had, it's just
yes, yeah,
even now, Vector is a huge test piece.
right.
Technical ability and mental ability as well, because the gear is like, I mean, it's okay, like it's reasonable, but it's good because of the gear we've got now.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean I know there is a like a description of Joe when he was climbing in the Lake District, I think, in one of the quarries, and they were doing some chimney work, and he describes the tinkle of nails falling out of their boots because it was just the conditions were just awful, and they were freezing cold and wet through, and you just think, while you're standing there and you just chucked on your down jacket to keep you warm on the belay, it's a completely different ball game.
I think the thing that I always remember is like early on, my dad got the Lakeland Rock film, And then you've got the ascents with the gear that they used, particularly like Peascod and Willans. And it's just looking at it and going, well, they use knots in rope and they use like little metal bolts, and it's insane, and the harnesses as
Oh, the
well.
harnesses, yeah, yeah, yeah. How male climbers ever manage to have offspring is really quite surprising.
You just, I mean, this is where it always came from, wasn't it? Is like the leader mustn't fall.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
in that day and age,
yeah.
in the situations, you didn't want to fall. Like you couldn't fall off, and like now it's come so far in that you can fall off. The gear's got so much better. Harnesses obviously have come such a long way, that falling is now something that you can do. But back then, it was really true.
Yeah, and it's been a really interesting kind of head shift, hasn't it? Because yeah, the golden rule, there's the pub in Ambleside called the golden rule, which is the leader never falls. First, because obviously the old traditional hemp ropes would just snap. And then because for listeners who are young enough not to have experienced the horror of a Willen's harness, where the strap comes through your legs and links onto your waist belt. That was obviously the other reason not to fall, because it was just damned uncomfortable. But these days, with modern equipment, falling is almost part of a coaching process and a way of progression, isn't it? It's kind of something you go to the wall to practice falling and then transition that outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very big part of like my routine is like getting used to falling on in certain areas where you can fall. Obviously, there's still places where you can't fall,
Yes, yes.
and you don't want to fall, but equally now it's like it's such an important part of that process, whether it's sport climbing, whether it's trad climbing, whether it's indoor climbing, is just getting used to the idea of falling. And it took me a long time actually to get out of that, because when I was younger growing up, I was like,
Yeah.
I can't fall off, can't fall off. I'm on site and can't fall off.
Yes, yes.
Although James McCaffrey does have a story of me apparently taking some massive lobs on my like, I think it was the grasp, like my first E1 that's now E2, and apparently just not having any fear. But I was like probably 11 or 12.
Oh yeah, that's pre-fear, isn't it? Because I've been belaying my daughter while she's been doing a GCSE PE, and she's been doing rock climbing for that indoor climbing, which has been a great process to watch her journey through up until the point she's like, oh right, yeah, next video I need to make is me holding a leader full, mum. I'm like, oh, right, okay. Oh, dearie me. Yes, there was a little more slack in the system than I would have appreciated, but I didn't squeal. I didn't need to rush to the bathroom afterwards, but it's
At least it was a soft catch. I mean, again, it's come so far in terms of technology, in that you've got the Edelrid device now, which kind of
yes,
mitigates that weight difference.
yeah.
So things have got better in that sense. However, I do actually quite like a nice soft catch.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you're on natural gear, you definitely need soft catch as well.
Yeah, you do. And I think this is where it's like so many people, it's like it's not just the person taking the falls, both people need to understand
Yeah.
what falls feel like, but equally it's like you have to build it up. Like you can't just go in at the deep end. You have to like do it in small increments and steps, and like
Yes.
get used to it, but also like be relaxed with it.
Yeah, that's an oxymoron for me.
No, it's so hard when you're telling people. It's like just be relaxed, like breathe, smile, enjoy the fall, and it's like you're supposed to enjoy falls.
Enjoy the fall. That's just a sentence that does, yeah, that's a tricky one for me to get my head around.
I think this is where it's like, even if it's just like bouncing around on the rope to start with and getting used to that and
Yeah.
being like, okay, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
right, like I can smile, I'm still breathing, like this is okay. And then it's just building up from there. And I think a
yeah,
lot of people try to just take big falls, but without processing the information that goes with it. And so like I tend to give people like physical markers of like, are you still breathing? Are you smiling? Are your shoulders up by your ears, or are they nice and relaxed? Because like it's so hard for people to just kind of describe feelings that they're going through
Yes.
when they're falling. Whereas like if you can give them physical responses to go
Yeah.
with it, they can be like, yes, yes, no, yes, yes, yes. Or if it's no, 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 it's like, okay, keep repeating that same fall until it kind of becomes yeses.
Oh, that kind of covers trad. We've got a whole list of sport routes as well. Is there any one of those that is one of your standouts?
Well, as I was saying to you before, like the only one I've actually done is under the boardwalk.
No way.
um so I think, I mean, there's so many on there that I would like to do, particularly red meat on the test pieces. But I think like uh, yeah, I'm probably a bad person, well, not a bad person, but bad for just going to LPT predominantly.
You've got your go-to crag.
Yeah, that's my go-to. The amount of times I've done under the boardwalk is probably over 100.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Um, I mean, I think it's stiff for the grade. I don't think it's an easy 6C, but I think that's pretty in line with everything at LPT. Everything is hard for the grade.
Right, right,
There's no gifts. Always the hard bits come at the end or at the
yeah,
beginning. It's like
right.
you get hard moves at the start and then you get hard moves at the end. So it's so easy to just fall off the top of things so many times. And like you get a little bulge at the end, and then a little bit of a crux. So I think it's quite intimidating for a lot of people around that area. And I see a lot of climbers like hesitating and like getting a bit scared and intimidated around that bit. But it feels quite sporty in places, and then it feels quite traddy in places on that route.
Right, right.
Um, so you've got some like lay backing sort of crack system in the middle, and you're like, oh, this is nice, and like a bit tragedy with bolts. And then, I mean, I enjoy climbing it. It's like a nice
But you
thing.
must do to do it that many
Yeah,
times.
yeah. I've definitely done some like alternate link ups recently from other routes into that, which takes the sting out of the start because it is quite a stingy start. It's quite tricky. It has recently been rebolted to put the bolt in slightly better positions, which makes it a bit more enjoyable to climb. So yeah, that's the only one I've done out of that list.
Yeah, we'll move on to bouldering, and we've got a long list of different problems here. Obviously, your bouldering is one of your passions. What are your standouts on the list on that we've got here?
Oh God, I mean, there are so many good boulders on this list. I think probably the standout for me more because it took me a while to do it is the pinch up at Sheep Pen at the grade again, like of 7A plus. It took me a while to actually do that one. It's in a beautiful location. It's just really nice being up there. But I think for me, because it took more work to do that route or that boulder problem, when I did it, I was really proud of myself.
Yeah,
So I think that one came with some really good feelings of just kind of it was an anti-style boulder. And I think, I mean, there's just so many like absolute classics on there that it was really hard to choose. So I went with that one because it felt like hard work to do it rather than some of the others that I've done quite quickly. I mean, another one that's really classic is Boyson's Groove in the Llanberis Pass. There's a beautiful circuit of boulders up there.
right.
And again, for the grade, it feels just really cool, like kind of half groove climbing, but with good holds and some big moves. Obviously, the ramp at Cromlech is a classic. I
Yeah,
think for me, like, I mean, although it's on its own, Ultimate Warrior and Wonderwall and Death Squadron are all amazing boulders as well. Compared to the pinch, like Wonderwall and Death Squadron, I did in a session, and they're
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it comes down to like what suits your style. Like the same with Ultimate Warrior. Actually, I did Ultimate Warrior sort of did Ultimate Warrior during COVID. I went out with my housemate Charlie because we could only really be out together. She's like barely like just over 5 foot, so she's tiny. And it was just the two of us, and the top out was wet. We had two boulder pads, and the landings not great. So I got
Right.
to the top out and I was like, I've done the whole boulder. I'm not topping out because if I mess this up, it's COVID. I don't want to end up in hospital. And I've got one tiny little person spotting me in two boulder paths. So the only thing I didn't do was top it out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that sounds like a good decision for the day.
Yeah, some self-preservation was very important.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, I was just as you were sort of naming those names there, I was just sort of looking down the list, and this comes back to something we were talking about just before we came started recording, and that's we've managed to pull together a list of routes that none of them are like rude or suggestive in their title, which if you pick up any guidebook, it's just been a thing, hasn't it? All the way through sort of modern climbing and when routes have been named. And it's actually something when we had zero G climbing, it was well, probably my idea, but we came up with names for products, being a little suggestive as well. And we had a belay device, or we had a string called a G string because obviously zero G. But then we also had a belay device called a G spot. And quite recently, we had a younger member of our staff team pick up the phone and look most confused and say, "I've got someone on the phone asking for Paul and Cathy's G spot, and I don't know how to respond." So we had an older member of staff
I mean,
explain.
alongside Joe, obviously the prolific climbers, particularly in North Wales, were like um, Redhead and Dawes.
Ah,
And
yes, yes.
yeah,
Anarchists perhaps would be a term.
so a lot of the routes, probably mostly from Redhead, were quite misogynistic, shall we say?
Yeah, yeah. There's some that yeah. There's some. In fact, even these days, and how shocking is that? I'm like loath to repeat some of them because
But I mean, this is the thing. Like, as you get older, you understand the names and
yeah.
kind of realize exactly what they mean. And so when I was like really young, and this was in the Lake District, my dad was pissing himself laughing at me because I was there saying to these like other adults that I really wanted to go and do these routes called Too Fucking Hard and Too Fucking Pumped, and not really knowing what that meant because I was a tiny child. And I was like, yeah, like I'd love to go and do Too Fucking Hard.
Brilliant.
And he's like, oh my God. He was like, I don't think you know what you're saying.
Oh, brilliant. That's all these little parental moments that you never take into account. You're just like, yeah, I'm gonna get my kids out climbing, or I'm gonna do all this cool stuff with them. And then you're just like, sometimes I need to rethink my parenting decisions here. Brilliant. So I know you obviously climb across disciplines, and obviously you need a lot more gear to climb on trad than you do on sport. And then obviously you need next to nothing for bouldering, chalk bag and a bouldering pad, a beanie and a down jacket, I think are probably the most essential items. But have you got a piece of lucky kit or something that goes out with you on every route?
On every route. I mean, I was going to say, although I don't have a piece of lucky kit, a flask of peppermint tea always comes with me to the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you ever had to place that or
no, no, surprisingly not. I think a thermos might, mind you, I guess if you had a wide enough crack, the thermos would, and it fit perfectly. The thermos might work as a good chalk stone based placement.
Yeah, probably not a good belay for winter climbing if you needed it in the snow.
No, probably not. Even yeah, I don't think that would. Mind you, I guess if the thermos works well, it doesn't really radiate
Yeah,
the heat,
yeah.
which
Paul Braithwaite was telling me the story of how he belayed off a spent oxygen cylinder on on their Everest expedition. I was like, oh no, I just it's so slippery. I can't even.
yeah, that
That's a new
sounds
level of desperate.
a bit sketchy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, all my trad gear, well, particularly for non-site, all my trad gear goes with me.
Yeah.
It
Honestly,
it
right, it doesn't matter on the route. You don't just choose specific pieces on your harness. You just like take your happy
I
kit
mean,
and off you go.
if the route's easier, it's unlikely that I will take the absolute small. Like I won't take the dragonflies with me, and I won't take the little brass imps and offsets with me. Um, so I mean, weirdly, I think this comes a lot from Calf and having climbed with him for so long.
Yeah, yeah,
That particularly on harder routes, I love my brass offsets.
yeah.
Possibly a little bit too much. Uh, I think it was actually another climber when we were climbing Pembroke. Ryan Pascal was like, he was like, I can tell you climb with calf. He was like, it's massive, like, why are you just placed like a load of like brass offsets together? And I'm like, yeah, but it sits in really well and deep, and it feels really safe and bomber. So perhaps I'm a little bit weird in that sense.
No,
But
no, if it goes in and it feels bomber, I'd say that's a winner.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, possibly have a little bit too much love for those. I mean, the probably the biggest game changer in the last few years has been actually having the DMM dragonflies,
Yeah, yeah,
and the surprising amount of places that those go in as well, even if it's just a psychological piece of kit.
yeah,
Um, it's better than nothing.
yeah,
Um, Whereas, like, I mean, the obvious staples that go with me are like, I love my any DMM offset.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you place it in and it feels like a bolt half the time, and then it's really hard to get out.
Yeah, that yes, yeah, I'm a big fan, big fan. But actually, just going back to what we were saying about like the routes on the list, and particularly the sort of the early ones that Joe did, friends didn't exist. You know, camming devices were a long way off. They didn't appear until the 70s, and now you know there's loads of routes that you wouldn't even consider doing without your rack of cams.
I know, I mean, some of the routes, like, even with all the gear now, they're still like they're still scary, they're still bold, or they're still intimidating. And even with all the gear now, like there are still routes that I've backed off because like even with good gear.
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose if it's not the day, it's not the day, is it? If your head's not in it, it doesn't matter what gear you're carrying or what you put in. It's like the best decision is just to leave it to another day.
Yeah, that was it. That was actually a very early life lesson.
Really?
It was,
I
yes.
feel there's a
Again,
story behind that.
another day out with James McCarthy. I think I was like 14. And you'll have to excuse the brain fog because, oh yeah, now I've got it. It was Nagasaki Grooves in the Lake District.
Right.
Um, and so it's just to the left of a classic E1 called Banzai Pipeline in Borrowdale on Great End. And me and Kath had gone up Banzai Pipeline E1. I was 14 and like gearing up to try and leave my first E4, and Kath was there, and he was like, you don't always have to go for it if you're not in the zone or like not feeling it. 14-year-old me did not listen to that because I was not climbing well. Like I did not climb well on Banzai Pipeline. And my dad was actually with us as well. He wasn't climbing with us, but he was just like coming and watching.
Yeah.
And I set off up Nagasaki Grooves. I'm quite tiny at this time, so I'm having to use like holds that people don't use that are covered in like mossy black lichen.
Yeah, yeah.
And it kind of you place some gear and then there's quite a long traverse to the next gear. And although Kath was like, yeah, she just looked shit like she was about to fall off and die. There was actually like a spider web and a spider over the next gear placement.
Oh no.
And I hated spiders at the time. So I had to
Yeah.
like knock it off. And in the process, I thought it'd fallen down my top. And I
Oh no.
freaked out and I almost fell off before I got the gear in.
Oh,
But equally, it had taken me a long time to get there. Like it just didn't feel right. I placed the gear, but Kath there thinking he's going to kill this 14-year-old teenager. I think my dad walked off at this point, and there were two guys on Banzai Pipeline who had like slowly started creeping rightward along the ledge in case like I fell off and hit them. So it was just all in all quite a traumatic experience for everyone. And so like at that point I got the gear and I was like, yeah, I'm done for the day. I'm like climbing down and like I'm leaving this piece of gear behind and I'll just everything else out on the way down. I was like so freaked out at that point. But
oh gosh.
it was a near miss.
Yeah.
It could have gone very wrong.
Yeah.
However, it did give me that lesson that I probably needed, in that it's okay to back off things, and it's
Yeah.
okay to not go for something if you don't feel in the right frame of mind. And there are so
Yeah.
many things that lead to that nowadays, like work, life
Yeah.
stresses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not every day is going to be your day. And I will happily hold my hands up and say, I've backed off E2s, I've backed off like easy routes for what I climb now, because it's not felt right on the day.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And actually, you and James, so I always call him James because he was also one of our sponsored athletes. And when I was working in needle sports, he used to come in his school uniform. So he's in my mind, he's always James. But of course he's not. He's this gnarly climber dude. But you guys
Yeah,
can't be that different in age either. He couldn't have been that much older than you at the time, and you're both having this like mega day at the crag on these gnarly routes, like big mountain, hard grade, big mountain routes. That's a big day.
yeah. I mean, I think because we were both at Keswick School together,
Yeah.
I think I think it's about a 5 or 6 year age gap between us. But
Right,
you,
right.
we always say like we're each other's longest standing climbing partners as well. It's like we've climbed together now for nearly 30 years, probably.
Wow. Wow. Oh man, that's huge, isn't it? What a treasure as well to have that climbing relationship.
I mean, I don't think I could have actually asked for a better mentor growing up, because, like,
Yeah.
I mean, Kath is like the ultimate trad climber, but also like he'd done so many of the routes already that for him, he would always encourage me to get on something if he thought I was capable of doing it, rather than being like, I'm taking the lead, you're
Yeah.
not ready. It was
Yeah.
always like the complete opposite of that. And he was like, oh, I think you should try this. I think you should go for this.
Yeah.
So having someone that supportive and knowledgeable was, you could, yeah,
Yeah.
priceless.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So I'm going to dip onto a shoe related question because you are a Scarpa sponsored athlete. We're a Scarpa Pro store at the Joe Brown shops in Erie, Snowdonia, and also the Climber shop in Ambleside. I'm assuming you've probably got quite a large collection. And the reason I'm thinking that is because on your video of your send of Bowerbreath Low, you were wearing a different shoe on each foot, which was radical. I hadn't actually seen that before. So can you just give us a bit of an insight into why and how you choose your shoes and how many, do you know how many you have?
Too many. I think I have over a large duffel bag full of climbing shoes.
Wow. Is that unzipped at distance or is that,
Yes.
yeah.
I I have actually had quite a few friends and my husband take the piss out of me for how many pairs of the same shoes I have. It's probably, yeah, not well. I mean, I am actually a person who, once I like a shoe, I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah.
And so once I like a shoe, it's hard to get me out of that shoe. My probably first love affair with a Scarpa climbing shoe was the Chimera.
Yeah.
And I have a sickening amount of Chimera. um, so I think for me that has always been my go-to shoe, particularly for trad and sport. I love it. Like I love the technology behind it, the fact that it has like the big toe support. I'm
Yeah.
such an avid supporter of technique and movement, of the big toe being your like powerhouse,
Yeah.
and like where all your climbing stems from, basically. So I got a bit nerdy and geeky when I found that
Oh,
was
we
like
love
what
that
they
on
were.
this podcast, don't worry.
And I think I was having the chats with Nathan Howitt, the designer of like a lot of the Scarpa shoes, and I was like, I freaking love this. Like it's one of the best shoes. Particularly for me, like I quite like knowing what I'm standing on. And so having a little bit of a softer shoe with that toe support was really crucial for me. It's the shoe that I sent Big Bang in.
Yeah.
So that was like a big
Yeah.
boost. Like I was like of confidence in that shoe.
Yeah.
Um, for route setting, I love the Dragos, a bit softer than the Chimeras, but kind of built on the same last, so
Yeah.
similar sort of fit. Actually, on Bowerbreath, the reason I changed shoes, so I had on the Instinct VS, I think for me, I found with the Drago actually it was like slipping on the toe hook, whereas the Instinct has the ridges, so the toe hook stuck better.
Ah,
And I
right.
do this a lot of, like if one shoe isn't working, like I will try a 50-50 of shoes. Just so like for some of the edges I've got a bit of softer sensitivity when I'm standing on them. Like the Drago's really good for heel hooking, but the Instincts were better for toe hooking. So that was that was the logic behind different shoes on that folder. And like I will do that a lot. Sometimes even on sports routes, I like wear two different shoes. But I think one of the mistakes I made, and I didn't make it again, was when I did once upon a time in the Southwest, I wore my chimeras and my feet were screaming by the end of it. I
Right.
think because it was too soft and it was very slabby, really could have done with like the Instincts as just a bit of a stiffer shoe. So I wore the Instincts on Nightmare just because that's quite edgy, small footholds, needed a bit of like a stiffer support of the shoe. Recently, actually, I've developed a love affair with the ladies' Instinct lace ups. They've now been coming with me to LPT. A new project, I've been like, okay, just such a game changer. They make such a difference on the route that I'm trying. I was like, oh, I actually really like these all of a sudden. So I'm slowly branching out, but the Chimera is probably still my like dream shoe.
So you mentioned you got lots of chimeras. Do you find that one, if they're worn to a certain point, they become more relevant for a certain route? Is that why you kind of keep hold of them, or is it just because you can't let your shoes go?
I think so with the chimeras, I think they work really well on sensitivity, but once they go, they wear in a little bit. Sometimes they're still really good for smearing and being maybe a bit less precise. But I found on actually the one particular route that I've been trying that I've now tried turn over to Instinct lace ups is that the newer the shoe, the better because it
Yeah,
really requires like a bit of stiffer precision on some of the footholds. So
right,
actually,
right.
I think that's why the Instinct lace up has come in as a bit of a game changer because it is just so much stiffer. It's
Yeah.
just working so much better on some of the smaller edges. It took me a while on one of my projects there, which was like a new link up called I called it De Mauvais Melons or Too Bad Melons. Because it links in Bad Bad Boy. Well, no, it links in Melancholy into Bad Bad Boy into Pas de Deux. And as soon as I put a new pair of shoes on one of the edges, I could like the moves felt easy.
Oh,
And then
wow. Yeah.
after I did it, and I was like, oh, I wish I'd done that a while ago. I definitely have like some of them are training pairs of shoes and some of them like where the rubber's quite worn through and a couple of fresher pairs of shoes. But equally I'm a bit of a nightmare in that my right foot is substantially smaller than my left foot. So whilst I can easily get on a size 38 in my right, I really struggle on my left.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Actually, that was the other reason that I wondered if that might be one of the other reasons for choosing different shoes because the lasting would be different, and you can get that different fit because none of us have got identical feet. Um,
No.
and the footwear manufacturers have to do their very best to create a last that fits as many feet as possible. So yeah, it's really interesting hear you say that. And have you got kind of coping mechanisms to deal with that, or through climbing, or through do you sometimes wear a sock on your smaller foot, or does that just take away any kind of sensitivity?
So I mean I guess this is probably the bad bit of being sponsored again shoes is sometimes I order like the 38
Ah,
and a half, the 38
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
for
yeah,
a
yeah,
38 on my right foot, a 38 and a half on my left foot. I
yeah,
mean, if I really like, obviously there's ways to break them in, is like put them in the oven and at a low temperature, heat them up and then put them on. I'll use plastic bags to try and get them on. And I will do
yeah,
that, but equally I hate cramming my feet in
yeah.
really tight shoes.
Yeah.
So like once they're broken in, they're not so bad. It's just getting to that
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah, we spoke with Robbie Phillips at Kendal Mountain Festival, and he was saying uncomfortable feet. He just can't be doing with it, and I thought that was really interesting because that in days of old, it was kind of like get the smallest you can and crank your feet in,
Yeah.
I think very quickly I discovered, for my level of climbing anyway, that it's all about comfort. And these days, if I can't fit a sock in, I'm not interested.
It's such a fine line, isn't it? Like if it's too baggy, you don't really get the support that you need through the
Yeah,
toes. But equally,
yeah.
if it's too tight, like you just can't feel what you're standing on. And I did have that recently. I had a bit of a brain fog moment, and I was out at LPT with Kath, and I had two pairs of the Ladies Instinct lace ups, and I put in the ones I've been really struggling to fit on,
Oh no.
and not the ones that I've been climbing in. I just about managed to squeeze them on, but there were actually like moves on the route that I couldn't do because I couldn't feel my like toes. And like one sequence I'd been totally fine on, I just couldn't do it at all on that day because I just couldn't feel my feet.
No, no, no. I mean, this is years ago actually. We went, we climbed an amphitheatre buttress, which was on one of the trad routes on the list, and it must have been probably about this time of year because the top pitch there was quite a bit of snow around, sort of old snow patches around. So I couldn't feel my feet literally because they were so cold. So that was like ever since then I'm like, can I fit a sock?
Yeah,
Even though it might be July, unless it's the Calonk. I'm not. If
only
it's the
takes
UK,
one move
I
from
want
being traumatized.
yeah, I want some insulation. But the other really interesting, I mean, like all these kind of lessons that you learn, we were using, there was three of us climbing, so we were using double ropes, and one was a bale rope, which was handled beautifully because it probably had a dry treatment on it. And the other one was it was an old Marlow rope, which in the day were known as budget ropes. And this Marlow, oh my God, this rope. As soon as it got wet, it was like a cable, a wire cable. So trying to pull both of the ropes through the belay device, I just remember swearing a lot by the time we got to the top because I was just like, what you, oh, it was yeah it was a real lesson in what difference a dry treatment on a rope can make.
Yeah, again, ropes have come such a long way.
Yes, yes. No longer the hemp of days of old. Joe's I think one of the first routes he did on Kinder Downfall. He took his mum's washing line.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So happily, we live in a world of beautiful cone mantle ropes that are designed to take to be as bouncy as possible,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that you can tie and untie knots after a
Well,
fall.
sometimes depends on the time.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I've got to the top of a route so pumped I can't actually untie my knot on my belays. Had to get me out of my rope.
Yeah, I've definitely come off routes too. I mean, I always tie a figure of eight. I refuse to tie a bow line,
Yeah,
which obviously is harder to undo if you fall off on it multiple times.
definitely. Yeah. Well, Emma, I mean, it has been absolutely such a treat to catch up and chat with you. Thank you so much for your time. And if you have listened to Emma and you want to learn more about her and follow her on socials, you can just search Emma Twyford, Twyford, on Instagram, and she'll pop up. Emma, you're also sponsored by Scarpa and also by DMM. And we're a Scarpa Pro store. And so when it comes to climbing shoes, we carry from the smallest size, maybe not in all styles, but we carry from, I think, down to from size 30. Well, we actually got kids' shoes, actually. So they go down to really weensy, but we've got all the way through up to, I think, size 13 or 14 in rock boots is the biggest size that we carry. And also with DMM, we have one of the biggest ranges in the UK for DMM climbing hardware as well. And you can find all of that product on our website on www.joe-brown.com. And you can also find a wealth of additional information available on our Joe Brown Outdoor Academy website, which you can find at joebrownoutdooracademy.com. So all that remains to be said is grab yourself a tick list from our Llanberis and Capocureg shops, or head on to UK Climbing, where you'll find a digital version and our competition. You can pick up some freebies, and you can also enter our amazing competition from April through to September, all across the summer, to win some incredible, unique piece of artwork actually of Cenotaph Corner.
Oh,
And
lovely.
yeah, it's beautiful. We've got one on display in the Llanberis shop, and it is just a thing of beauty. Or you can win a pair of Scarpa generators, a pair of Scarpa Mescalito approach shoes, £250 worth of DMM climbing hardware, a couple of RockFact subscriptions. So well worth getting involved. Get out on the rock, get climbing, and have fun this summer.
Yeah, I would definitely say those routes and boulders are worth it anyway. They're all fun to do.
Are you going to tick off some sport routes yourself, Emma?